be going over the new breakout room functionality. So we went over this months ago when it first rolled out. It wasn't a very seamless process. So we're going to take a look at it and the updates that have been made. So we're really excited about it. It's a lot easier if anyone's used Zoom before. It mirrors a lot of the same functionality that Zoom has. Hey, Sean, how's it going? Can you hear me, Sean?
I can hear you good.
Okay, great. I was just giving some time to people to join, but I was explaining we're going to go over the breakout rooms. I know we went over those months ago when they first rolled out, but they've made some serious upgrades to them. So I'm excited to show everyone today what that's about. So I was playing with it around with it last night, and I think I couldn't do some of the things because I was solo in a meeting, and so I'm excited to have you join and see what's possible. So I'll go ahead and get started since we're a couple minutes into the half hour here. So basically, breakout rooms are used for a variety of reasons. We see them for, teachers breaking out classrooms or different research groups that need to come together in one meeting and then be broken out into their various different meetings. However you want to use it, there's a lot of different use cases for it, but I'm really excited to show you how they've made some really great updates here. So you can do this a couple different ways. So got to bring my notes over so I can follow along here. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this. First of all, you need to make sure that in your team's settings, so up here at the top in your settings, you need to make sure that you're using the new version of Teams, so the new meeting experience. If you don't have this checked off, you're not going to be able to do what I'm showing you today. So first things first, make sure that new experience is turned on. And you have to have the latest Teams update, and you can check this in your Teams desktop client. The other thing to note is this is only, as the organizer, you only have the capability to do this in the desktop application. However, if you're an attendee, you can still join from the web browser version of the Teams tool. So they're going to change that, probably not till 2021 at this point, but just so you know, if you are the organizer, you need to be working out of the desktop application. And then at this time as well, the meeting organizer is the only person who can create and manage rooms. But again, I believe that they're going to enable it so that you can control who can manage those rooms. So if Sean and I are putting together a presentation and we're conducting a couple different breakout rooms that we want, I can give Sean, eventually I'll be able to give Sean permission to also manage the rooms, but everyone else wouldn't have that capability. You can do this both for scheduled meetings or previous meetings, so it works either way. I'm going to go ahead and create a new meeting and invite Sean so we can jump in and show you how it works. So I'm going to go ahead, and I am on the East Coast, so it's 11:30 for me. So I'm going to put this on here and invite Sean. And you don't need to do anything when creating the invite. So create your invite as you normally would. If you do this through Outlook and add the Teams bridge, it's all good. You don't have to do anything until you actually start the meeting. So I'm going to send this calendar invite to Sean. And once it's on my calendar, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. And then you'll see at the screen here, this is the new Teams experience. So you want to make sure that, again, these things are turned on so that you have access to them. So you're going to join the meeting invite, and as the organizer, I will have the capability to create the breakout rooms. So you'll notice there's this new like square inside a square here. this is the new breakout rooms. You used to have to create individual channels and individual meetings with those channels. Just make sure to mute yourself on the Teams bridge, Sean, please. So now and that was such a tedious process. So the functionality was there, but it was a tedious process. So now you can click on these breakout rooms and you can choose how many rooms that you need. You can choose up to 50 rooms. I don't know if that number will increase or not, but hopefully that's sufficient for your needs. But let's say, we want to have 4 breakout rooms, and then we can either have them automatically assign people to rooms. So if you don't care who's in what room, maybe you're doing a culture activity and you just want to have breakout rooms for different teams and games, and you just want people to mingle, you can go ahead that way, or you can manually add them so that you can choose who goes to what room. So we'll go ahead and create the rooms. It's a very quick process. Your rooms are being created and now they're there. So Sean, are you on this call with me still?
I am. I was joined in, but here I can do it again.
Yeah, let's join you back so I can show them. So as per usual, you can click on any of the normal functions here, your chat, your participants, what have you. And then breakout rooms is there still. So you can come over here and you can add a room. So say you chose 4 rooms and you're like, shoot, I actually need 5, no problem. You can just go ahead and click add room and it'll show up at the bottom. Now it's here. Right now the rooms are closed. You can come here and you can rename the room. So if you were having maybe a sports theme, we could have the Padres room. This really helps just from an organizational standpoint. So you can see, who is in what room. We'll do the Lakers in honor of their win this year, right? Didn't they win? Yeah. It's all a blur this year. So you can go ahead and rename your rooms. And then here I can come and assign my participants. So of course, the likely event there would be a lot more people, but I can click on Sean's name and click assign, and I'm going to put him in the Padres room. And so now I know Sean is here in the Padres room, and I can open the room so that Sean can go ahead and get into that Padres room. And so at any time, you'll be able to come back into the main room as well. And so, you can hop around as you need. You need to be in the meeting to create the breakout room. So again, you can't do this ahead of time. And then you can, the organizer can actually send messages to the different breakout rooms. So trying to think, remember how to do this here. This is all new to us as well. So if we go, okay, so at the top, this ellipses, if you click on the ellipses and breakout room, under breakout rooms, you can click make an announcement, and 5 minutes until we're joining the main room again. So if you said, everyone break out into these rooms and, we want you back in 5 minutes, then you can make an announcement so that they know that they have to come back. And so then they can come back to the main room. And as the organizer, you can jump in. I'm still trying to figure out why these are grayed out. This was just rolled out recently. But if you come over to this Padres room that's open, I can go ahead and close it, and it's gonna, then Sean can come back into the main room. So this is a lot more seamless than the previous rooms. Like I said, you had to create individual channels, and now you can do it right from the meeting that you create. And if you go ahead and look at the conversation, it should show that announcement when you're in the room. So it's finally nice to break away, right? Yeah, so I'm really excited about this new feature. It's going to make it a lot easier to have those larger meetings that need the subsets. So I have a great article that goes through this all in depth. And I'm going to send that out to you guys as well. The other thing you could do is click on room settings and let people go back to the main meeting. So if you want to push them into your breakout rooms and not have them come back, you can leave this unselected. But if you want people to be able to come back as they wish, you would check this off. These settings, from what I've researched, are going to be enhanced over time. You'll have more ability and control over different facets of the breakout rooms. But for now, you can have it automatically move people into open rooms once you open them. I think that's easier because it's automated. But if you want to manually add people into open rooms, you could do that too. I don't really know why you might delay it, but the option is there for you if you wish. Going back to the settings, you can come here and recreate rooms. So if you messed up or you are doing a couple different exercises and you want to have different groups each time, you can go ahead and recreate those rooms. It's going to delete all the existing rooms and create new ones. So you're going to start again from the top, like maybe we want 10 breakout rooms now, and go ahead and create it. And it's going to just have the same experience when we first started. So if you have the need to, get rid of the original groups and you want to create new rooms, you can do that easily. You don't have to start an entire new meeting. So lots of cool new functionality here. I'm excited to start using it. We got to tell Amanda about it for our culture games and activities, because I'm really excited to start using it. So
yeah, we have our Secret Santa giveaway coming up.
Yeah, so excited. Any questions about that, Sean?
No, I think the only thing that I can say is the video piece, obviously, because we're trying to demo all this stuff with video again, we're not turning on our video and or microphones or Teams right now. So anyway.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's been some updates in the event features of Teams too. So I'm hoping in the new year we'll start actually hosting these on Teams. So stay tuned, because this is our last one of this year, but I plan to see you guys next year too. So. All right, Sean, did you want to share your screen and go over just, I know we've talked about it before, but there's just so many use cases and ability to add other applications into Teams.
Sure.
So want to make sure that everyone's aware of all that great stuff.
Yeah. So can you see it now there?
Yep, I see your Teams calendar.
Awesome. So I know that we keep recording these and we keep talking about Teams, and really, as I told, we tell a lot of people, just think about your business running as, Teams be at the hub for everything you do, document management, communication. Frankly, I think everybody understands that Teams can also be your outbound calling system now. It's been like that for about a year or so. It kind of took Skype and sucked it in. But really, it's also your connector back to applications. And we've done some security trainings in the past, and we've talked a lot about, all this stuff that's moving around, documents like Word and Excel and emails, and frankly, even instant messaging, all this stuff is getting sucked back up into your Office 365, or now they call it Microsoft 365 platform, and really being secured. So, in Teams, we navigate by this, our activities, our chats that are happening. We use our calendar. We do more than ever rather than using our Outlook calendars. You saw that Christy test meeting she sent me earlier today. It's not only in my Outlook calendar here, but it's in my Outlook calendar or Teams calendar there. There's the Sean test as well. So anyway, when you go back to this, a couple things. A lot of people are asking, where do I add applications? So these three little ellipses, as we're calling them, are one place to do it. And a lot of people are trying to bury in things that they use common, on a daily basis. So things like Zoom or Ring Central, if you're not, say, using Teams for your communication platform. But, we talked about this last week. And if you want to embed an application right here on your Teams navigation bar, you can do that. So I just hit the button down there, all apps. If I wanted to, example, use, let's say it's a Microsoft tool, and I love Power BI. We showed this last week. So Power BI, basically business intelligence. It's Microsoft's tool to do it. Nothing fancy in the name, but just, that's what you have. So you want to go to Power BI, you see it there. You can add it. and then it'll automatically load into Teams. Now, if you've preloaded some of this stuff, it's going to be simple. If you have it, it takes a second. Say it's a Zoom, you want to embed that, it might take a minute. But now we're in Teams, and we're just in a Power BI app, which is where we get our business intelligence. So you can learn a lot about how to use some of these programs. Most things do, but you're also going to see things that are really from, you think about Teams and you think about you wanting to get information that's pertinent or relevant to you. And so these are things that in the last, couple of days, you notice the hours there that have been shared with me, or things that I've looked at recently. It's become really handy when I'm, we're in the middle of planning for 2021 and finishing up everything from budgets to KPIs and all these good things. And so the things that are most important to me, I'm looking at here. So I showed last week Power BI. We can go into some of the fun stuff that it could do. I was kind of mesmerizing my CFO yesterday with like some of the things that we're starting to measure. And so I just want the Excel users out there to understand that if you're good in Excel, or you're good in even products like Access, Power BI is a cinch. Is that a word?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you can import Excel files right into it, right?
Yep.
And then you play with the visualization of the data.
Yep. We believe as a company, being that we're in technology, but more so than ever, we believe that with what happened with COVID and the need for people when they're working remote, the need for data has become key. Because obviously I can't run down the hall anymore and say, Christy, when's the next, marketing email going out, or when, are we going to see our financial updates from Mel, or Melanie, our accountant, and be able to understand, what's going on day to day. So this is the way to do that. Business intelligence is going to become key, but you're going to see like, we have things from tickets created by customer. You're able to go in and look at, the business units within your company. So you just have to put yourself in the shoes of your own business and say, what are things I want to measure? And the hardest part about business intelligence is not building out things like this, because we do it all the time for customers, but knowing what you want to build. It's kind of like getting with your architect, so to speak, when you're building your new kitchen or your house and saying, I've been reading all my magazines and here's what I want. So anyway, I just thought it was important to show you, what Power BI can do from a possibility perspective. I also, again, want to talk to you guys about how everything can be shared back to Teams. So say I was looking at a dashboard about tickets created and I wanted to, talk to my help desk manager about something that I'm noticing. I can actually click the chat in Teams. I can take this particular set of documents and give it a second here, and I can actually re-chat it back or ask him a question or bury it back into a specific team, I guess you could say, or group that I want, to notify. So if I wanted to search for a team or a channel like all staff, if I publish this to all staff now, it's going to go out and share it in that all staff meeting. So there is company updates, all staff, we would put it in there. So it's an idea of what can be done, or we could put it into our technical team. So if I publish that now, that would go into our all staff feed, which would end up back up here in our, let me get Christy out of the way here, back up here in our all staff and what's happening on a day-to-day basis. So people who are in the all staff group or team would see what's going on here. So that's, that's one way. Then we started talking last week or a couple of weeks ago about Teams from just a application perspective within the team. And so there's a million applications right now out there that Microsoft has, but up here, when we create a team, and let's use our, I don't know, maybe our
There's a demo channel.
Yeah, demo channel. You're going to see, again, the feed, like what's happening in your team that you're working in. And this is where, like, for my senior leadership team, we look every day at new replies, or frankly, we're so into culture and, understanding, birthdays and what's happening in the business and certifications and people who have been able to do something outside of the house, that people are posting that and putting emojis and online things. But this is your feed. But really what I wanted to show you is where you can also add a tab in a team, and again, get those apps that we're talking about embedded inside of those teams. So there's tons and tons of apps. I'm sure you guys who are using Teams know that.
With Power BI, could you add just one specific dashboard here that you want to look at only in this team?
You sure can. Yeah, you can do it a few different ways. I can I can go into Power BI. There it is again. I can open it up and then post a specific, you see, post to this channel, a
Right.
specific Power BI app. I don't know, let's see, service delivery. This is one of our BI tools we use to look at our, how well we're doing from a service delivery perspective. I can save that, and then it's going to end up in that channel for, in this case, our general demo tab.
That's
So
awesome.
pretty
Yeah, one thing
cool.
that we've been working on is just enabling, you mentioned not being able to run down the hall and ask me a question. And, we're working on helping each other self-serve. And Teams allows for that. You go to the right channel and all that data that you need is right there for you.
Yep. And then even in here, I mean, if you were receive this, and then we're in the general tab, the demo tab, but if you receive this and you were our help desk level 1 manager doing work, or you were a project manager managing, multiple projects, and you wanted to look at specific ones, you can slice and dice, as we say, or really pivot through some of these things. And you see right now, we only wanted to look at help desk level 1, level 2, and maybe, some other things. And I can see specifics about specific, groups within my organization. I can also see about specific customers. I can even look at specific team members, or even down to the individual employee, and figure out what it is, they're up to. So if I wanted to look at somebody who only works on BDRs, and which is our backup and disaster recovery solutions, and look at what, they're getting from a ticket perspective on a monthly basis, and we can open up BDR right here. It's going to pull up, how many tickets we're getting. Oh, by the way, in an active period of time. So if I wanted to look at, say it was in the last month, the last year, I can do pretty much anything and look at how old things are, if they're aging. I mean, again, this is how we use it, but you can do a lot with Teams. But you still, back to here, you notice now Power BI is embedded right here. So all my business intelligence is in that team. Again, if it's finance related, I would have it in my finance planning and budgeting, team. If it was marketing, I'd have it in there to understand our click-through rates and KPIs for marketing. So Power BI is just an example of one of many. Planner and Microsoft Lists, which Jessica did a phenomenal job of demoing a couple of weeks ago, all the way down to, companies are trying to drive, culture in the remote work world. So people are using products like SurveyMonkey. We use a product called Smileback. We see people posting YouTube videos on instructional things on how they did stuff, and you see that YouTube's buried in there. So the idea, I think it's pretty simple. Find your app, post in the team or group so it's in there. And by the way, whatever you post will also go into that chat so that people are aware, of what you might have just, done. So you'll probably
And there's
notice
hundreds of third-party applications, and Microsoft is always partnering with new businesses and adding those in there. So
yeah.
if you don't see it now, it might be there in the future. So
And I think, Christy, once we've seen so many like transformations with Teams where people go, I hate it. And I'm just being honest, because it's new to them. It's that user adoption. But you just have to keep it simple and think about it like this. So, this team, if you belong to it, I would have now noticed this, that all of a sudden this active tickets, if I was in this general tab, and I would have then clicked on it. If you guys would have said before, Sean was putting Power BI into this team, I might not have known about it. This type of feed, when you come in every day and you're part of a team, will show up in your activities, and you'll kind of know whatever's been sort of added and new, pertinent to you in the organization. So anyway, that is a really cool feature in Teams, just really thinking about what apps you want to join. And I think, I'll give you one more example for the many, 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 I don't know, let's say like Salesforce users out there. People want to add Salesforce right into Teams to track CRM and to be able to comment on things. So maybe in sales and marketing, if we're using a CRM tool like Salesforce, or I don't know, we use GitHub for doing software development, or we use, some people still use SharePoint. You name it, it can kind of be buried in there. And then behind a lot of what's buried in there is a lot of that security protocol that we talked about, which people really need to think about, because we are seeing a lot of breaches inside of our organization. Box, Gmail, Cisco WebEx. I mean, I think you guys get the idea now.
endless possibilities.
Endless possibilities. So anyway, with that, I think that helps from a what's possible. I mean, if people have questions, we just want to help them navigate through this and figure out what they can do.
Yeah, I think,
That's
I
important.
think the point is just showing how much really can reside all inside Teams. You don't need to be in all these disparate systems because, especially with the Microsoft 365 suite, everything's available inside Teams. And then, as I said, you have hundreds of other third-party applications like Salesforce and YouTube and things like that that you can insert here and really make it a powerful tool and a ultimate communication hub for your team. So when you look at things like Zoom, which obviously we're using it right now for the webinar, but as far as like file sharing and collaboration and add-ons and things like that, I think there's just so much more to be done inside Teams. And my advice is to take it one step at a time. I don't want you guys to get overwhelmed with this stuff, but when we set up our channels, we're like, okay, we're gonna have this OneNote because we take notes here on our meetings. And then as time goes on, oh, we have this great video that makes sense to add to this team because we're constantly using it. Okay, let's add that in. So, start small and build upon it. You can always add and remove as you see fit. I mean, things that might be pertinent to you this quarter or this year might not next year, and that's fine. You can add and remove as you see fit.
Yep. And the other thing, we're trying to help with the easy stuff that people get, bombarded by. So people have called us and said Teams has got a million different documents in it. Or I got to be honest, we have a lot of customers who attempt to migrate their old file servers into Teams or drag and drop a big file because it seems so easy. And it's not, but we encourage them to use Teams, so they do end up doing that. So if you want to sort of be able to filter and siphon and figure out where you might have thrown in this case, I just typed in the word budget, or you want to be able to look at something like, marketing and anything related to marketing, it does a pretty good job of searching. It
Yeah,
also
if you
does,
search in the top, it'll search for everything like the
yeah, it'll
files.
search for everything up. Oh, well, marketing wouldn't actually help us.
Yeah.
Then if you search for something like marketing and you want to do something from like, let's say it's a file specific perspective, you can do that and filter it even more. So it's done a really good job. This is Teams and filtering things that you're looking for. If you can get somewhat specific on what it is you need, it's kind of like the old Internet Explorer, but better. That's the best way to put it.
A lot better.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Well, I think that's it for today, right?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Short and sweet before the holidays. So this is the last one of the year. We'll get this up on YouTube and send it out so you guys can reference it along with the article on the guide for breakout rooms, which has been really helpful for me as I'm getting up to speed on it. I'm actually going to put it in the all staff channel as well, so that people on our team are aware of how to use it. We will go ahead and create a new invite for next year. We're going to take some time off to enjoy the holidays. So whatever you celebrate, hope it's a happy one and a healthy one, and we'll see you guys next year.
Yeah, happy holidays, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.